2003 F450. Done some work on it in the past. Painted it, repainted it, rebuilt the cab and all that fun stuff. Now, after 5 years or so, it's back because it's got some exhaust leaks that are very common on the 7.3. So we're going to be replacing the manifold, getting those bolts out that look like they're not even bolts. They just look like they're molded into the block. So that's going to be cool. This is at least the passenger side. Driver's side's better looking, but we're going to do that side too. But we're going to start over here. So these are exhaust bolts. They weren't breaking loose for anything. I didn't think they would. But, you know, I tried a couple different things. And, yeah, I just can't get them to move. So, instead, you know, looking back behind the manifold there, you can see if you cut them back behind there, you'll be left with, you know, roughly 1/2 inch, 3/4 of a stud to extract, which is really plenty. So I took this, just pretty much kept working my way this way and this way, that way, worked all the way, except for these ones here. I have to use a different cutoff wheel. I couldn't get to it. And this front one was real easy. Just got that. I cut the tube, and then the only thing I just did now is your oil dipstick here will run like right here, so it's kind of in the way. So I just took that off. There is it's right here on this stud. There's a nut that holds it down, holds that down, and this is fished straight down between the engine block and the intercooler pipe. Or whatever, but yeah, kind of a tight fit, but just kind of got to wiggle it out and pull it straight up out of there. So just got that out of the way for now. Now we're going to use this one, and then I'm going to go at it a different way. That way I could kind of go at it like that and cut instead of in. So I'm going to try that next, and then after that, this should be ready to come out. Alright, here we go. So, it is out. You see, I'm left with these big studs now, which, that's fine, because from here you can use a stud extractor, or I guess if you really want to, you could come in here and weld some nuts on these. Even if these were broken flush, you can do that. You can build up the weld and weld the nut to it. Usually pull these right out of the head. But I have a stud extractor and everything, so I'm not too worried about these. They're all sticking out about the same length, so of course the hand's in the way. There we go. But you can see it was leaking real bad right here. Real bad there, a little bit there. Can't see here because of the shadow, but there's a little bit of a leak there. But actually, kind of good and kind of bad. When I removed the manifold, I think the real cause of our exhaust leaks was the up pipe here. It fell out. So, and this is held up top, but yeah, clearly that is no longer tight. As soon as I dropped that manifold, this thing came sliding down. So I guess, yeah, I guess I'm going to be taking apart everything up here anyways, so I can redo all that back there on the turbo. It's not really what I had planned, but that's how this stuff goes. So we're here now, and might as well take care of all of it. We're doing the fun process now. I'm extracting the stud. So I got my little stud extractor on there. Bought it at the parts store. It was like, I don't know, $10 or something. So what I did is I come in here with this torch, heat the stud up only. Yeah, probably about 30 seconds or so. And then as soon as you're done with that, I use PB Blaster. Just be careful because it's flammable, so it may catch on fire a little bit. And then you know, rapidly cool that stud with this, and it actually seems like it pulls this stuff right up in there. And then as soon as you're done, you know, it's coming out just like that. Till we get to the other side. I mean, you could see it's all wet from that PB Blaster. You know, how else could I spray that up in there? So the trick works really well for any fastener, really. Try to heat up the fastener itself and rapidly cool it if you can with PB Blaster or WD-40, but PB Blaster definitely seems to do the job a lot better, and you know, get this out pretty easily. So I just got, like I said, 7 more to do, and then I'll start cleaning up all the mating surfaces and everything like that. I mean, after that it's ready for the manifold, but I got a lot more other work to do before I get there, so I'll just continue pulling these out. Alright, there we go. I'll show you real quick what I was talking about. So that grease and stuff catch on fire. It's cool. I'll do a little bit on this side here, and then we'll go for it. The only other thing I could say about this is make sure, I don't know, you're outside or you got some good ventilation, because this is pretty nasty. I have something under it to catch all this too. I have a sheet of old insulation. Just strips on that. Yeah, that should be it. Excuse me. Come on. Let's keep going. Okay. This says you know, like you're loosening it, these jaws just close up on that stud. So we're gonna get that on it. There we go. It's starting to bite it. Okay. So let's grab our wrench. There we go. I think it's biting it. Of course, the one I show you doesn't want to move now. Oh, there it goes. So you have to go with it really gently, because we definitely don't want to bust that in the block if we don't have to, because then we'll be welding nuts onto it to get it out. I've only ever had to drill into the block and retap it once. You can see it didn't quite go all the way up this time. Maybe I should have heated it a little bit longer, but got in there pretty good. That's it. Okay, cool. So spent a little bit of time. You can see I'm super shaky, and I got all of the studs out, showing the method I demonstrated worked. And then it was this stud here, this middle one. I had to do like a heat cycle twice before I got it to come out. Other than that, I got everything out just the way it is. And yeah, another method, I mean, I've used this too, but the stud extractor was working just fine, is, if you have room, I guess, you could get in here with a pipe wrench, but there really isn't that much room. But I've used it, because pipe wrenches, they grab hold of whatever. As long as you have enough force, usually you're going to break it or loosen it. So, alright. Alright, so now we're going to start working up here. Yeah, just got a lot of stuff to get out of the way. Got to start with, disconnect the batteries, of course. That was already done to begin with. And then, got to get this cold air, fun stuff out of here. And then we'll work on getting these charge pipes out of the way. And that's going to be the bulk of it. Once that's out of the way, the rest of it's not too bad to get to. I think also while we're in here, I think I'm going to end up changing is, I'm going to put new glow plugs in this thing, because if it's like 50 degrees outside, this truck doesn't want to start real well, so it needs it. So yeah, we're going to get going on this, and we're going to start getting all this out here first. Alright, it's amazing how much room that battery and the cold air intake take up. So obviously I already got the inner liner out, but look how big this thing is. I didn't realize these I didn't know it was that large. Whole housing, gives you a whole new battery tray. I don't even know what brand it is, but it's ginormous. And of course, battery, but now I got all this room. So next thing we're going to do is get the intercooler pipe out of the way, and then the driver's side will pretty much be freed up to what I need it for the manifold, at least as much as possible. Same with the valve cover, because it's just right underneath that stuff. But I'll get that tube off, and then I'll bounce over here, and I'll work on getting that one off. And then once I get to that point, then I'll have to remove the, whatever they call it, the spider or something. And then I'll be able to get further back, right where the turbo is, because I have to get that all apart so I can do those up pipes. Intercooler pipe off. For me to have to get down to this lower clamp, I guess you could have undone this, but I wanted to, I just wanted to get the pipe out on the other side. So I undid these two bolts here. I'm going to loosen this up, turn this, get that bolt there. Allows you to move this tank around. So I moved that out of the way, undid the clamp, and then had to fish the tube out. But this being a dump truck and all, and having hydraulic stuff everywhere, it's just a lot more crowded. I don't know if all power strokes like this, but anyways, on this side I just loosened up these three bolts here, just move that out of the way, and then I was able to pull the charge pipe up from the top. So next I'm gonna make sure I get a little snapshot right here in this area so I remember exactly how it goes. Not that it's too complicated, but just to be sure. So I'm gonna get this all off, and then once we're done with that, we're gonna do this clamp, and then we're gonna do the ones down there to the plenum, and we'll yank that off, and then we'll be that much closer to the turbo. So getting a little bit closer, a little bit at a time. So to give you a quick little explanation how to get this part off. So I forget what this is, but it's been a while since I messed with 7.3s. But anyways, one bolt holding it on. Bring it back. Just be careful, there's some vacuum lines and stuff. Probably gotta replace this anyways, because you can see it's pretty dry rotted. So bring those back. Got a electrical connector down there. There's a vacuum hose right there. And then you have to undo this little nut here. I think it's for the, what is that, the air intake heater or something like that. But these two come off. And then after that, you got the big clamp on top that goes loosened. I did both platinum clamps. Once that's all loosened, I mean, this thing's wobbly. It should, yeah, come right out. So there's that. So we'll put that right there for now. So now we're really close. Got turbo on the pedestal. I'm just gonna finish getting this intake tube out of the way, and then we'll keep going. I gotta get better light back here so I can see. But that's it so far. So, working way in there, get that up pipe undone. I'm not sure how you would do it on top. I couldn't, you know, figure out a way to do it easy on top. So, I'll show you what I did. I used my impact driver here, a couple extensions. I'm not positive on the size, but I think I used a 10mm. It seemed to fit well on it, so it came off. But you have to fish it up this little area here, fish it up in there, and you can actually get both of them just like that. If I could get the light in here, I could really show you, but it's hard. So yeah, you can see the other one up there. I just got it loose, so that's how I did it. Just fished it up in this area here and went up along the bell housing and straight up. And I was able to reach it. I got it loose with the impact driver. So I'm just using regular 3/8 ratchet, and it's a 13mm, and you can reach it like this if you really, you know, I could keep going like that. I already broke them loose. They are so loose, it's ridiculous. Look at that. That's good. I'm having a hard time breaking this. This is loose, but the clamp is kind of seized on there right now, so I'm going to have to do something with that in a minute. It's hard to see that back bolt. There it is. That one there.
Low power.
Well, of course, it's going to be even more difficult to get it. There we go. Got it. It's not too bad. This back one, see, it's all rusty, but this back one was actually, wasn't even really tight. Front one was really tight. That should be it. The turbo should be, probably give it a little knock. Might move. Yeah, there it goes. See it? Looks like I broke the seal too. I guess this is loose, huh? Yep. Oh man. So they're working on these trucks is how the turbo is. It's like 10 miles back in here. Didn't break a pipe seal yet. There it is. I think I got got it now. It's not really the lightest thing either. I gotta move this light before I break it. Pull it out of here slowly. It's possible. I'm just trying to be nice to everything. And then getting it out is going to be another job of its own. Okay. There. Minor details. Okay, that's basically out. I just got to readjust and make sure I don't blast the camera. Turbo's out. This thing's been busted, so it's just gonna make it a little easier for me to get this out, I think. This will be fun to get back in there too. If we have any other ones. Actually looks like that donut there is actually sealing still. Looks pretty good. This stuff is still good. The exhaust looks like it was holding up well too. That's aftermarket. I don't know what it is, but obviously it's huge. Alright. There's all the parts. We got the turbo. This is the passenger side. You could really see how bad that was leaking. And I think we're gonna probably just order the kit that gives you the updated bellow up pipes. That way they I don't know, they allow it to be a little more flexible at these connections so they don't, you know, leak, work themselves loose. But it comes with this, the 2 pipes, hardware. I think we'll be good. And the rest of the stuff we'll just clean up best we can and get it ready to go back on the truck. I'm not sure which part I'm least excited about, that or the fact that I still have to get this exhaust manifold out on this side. Even the inner wheel well out, there's like not really that much room in here. Being a dump truck, it's got all the hydraulic lines and stuff for the bed and the PTO hookups or whatever. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet on this side. We'll figure it out. Okay, so doing some fun stuff over here. I'm getting those bolts out of 8 of them. Gotten 2 actually loosened. Oh, well, first one's up there, it's in the dark. That one's gone. And I got one out, you know, right there. So the one next to it, I can't get anything to socket like it used to. It's rounded. I can't hammer anything on it. There's not enough room. Same with that one. And that socket, I actually got to stay on it. It's loosening. And this one's loosening. Both of those had to be heated them up and sprayed them down and broke it loose with a breaker bar. Taking my time, making sure I don't bust anything, but it looks like, I don't know, unless I find some way to be able to, you know, with that amount of room, hammer an easy out on the bolt heads. I'll probably just go through the top. First I'll probably just you know, go through the top and cut those bolts right behind the manifold. Probably use like a sawzall or something, because I got plenty of room. This is just power steering. I can move this out of the way. So that is where I am right now. So it's, I don't know, been working on this for probably trying to loosen these, probably about 2 hours. Trying to fiddle with things. Feels like 2 hours, maybe it's less. But yeah, it's been a while. Oh well, we'll keep at it. Finally, at the end of doing this, you can see it's getting dark now. So, this whole mess, I got 4 out of 8 bolts loose and undone. You can see how bad those things were seized in to the manifold, and you see the heads are gone because I couldn't do anything else. I had to, you know, get the plasma cutter, use it as a torch basically, and knock the heads off. And then once I got that done, I still had the up pipe on there, and those nuts weren't coming loose, so I just got done doing that. I had to lay the torch down in there and cut those bolts, so everything should come right out now. At least it was. It was loose. I don't know. I gotta get it pushed out. So, and then after that, I'll just put the stud extractor on these 4 here and get those out, and then we'll be ready for new parts once I clean all that up. Okay, all's going pretty good now. Got the manifold in. Got the bolts in. Got them torqued to 45 foot-pounds. That is what I looked up. I'd recommend you double checking the number if you were doing this. But so what I did, because it's just me by myself, this is kind of a pain to line up and get a bolt in, but it just kind of got a bolt through the manifold in the gasket and started to like put it right against the head, and then I was able to get this one here started, and then once I got that, you can kind of maneuver the rest of it to get started. And you know, got them all in finger tight. Then once that was good, I started tightening them with the air ratchet. Once I got close enough, I lined up my gasket best I could and snugged it up. And the other thing I did before I started all this was I ran the bolts in the manifolds here. I just ran them in to their holes to make sure everything was clear and we weren't going to get snagged up on anything. So that seemed to make the installation go better on this side for sure. Just going to clean up these mounting surfaces. Okay. So, I'll show you real quick. I'm going to install those, you know, new up pipes. I think every kit's about the same now, whoever you get from. These are all Dorman parts. It's just what I had access to for, you know, get this job done for customer. So, I didn't know how to put this thing in at first. I knew the connection right there with these 2 pipes. Well, that, yeah, just that connection, that was going to be way too hard for me to do anything with. So I initially put these 2 pipes together, thought I could get in there, and that was pretty obvious that wasn't going to work. So this side seems to be a little easier to get to. So That one I just tightened on, and I'm fishing it down now. I'm going to try it this way. Get that pipe in to the manifold, and then I'll run the other one up like I did the first time and get it in that connection. I'll just show you where it is. Actually, yeah, good thing it lines up really well, but yeah, it's right there. Just gotta move in and throw a couple bolts in. So I'll be moving on. Yeah, I got that pipe in there. I fished it through the bottom, and let's just see the gasket. I didn't put the bolts in yet, but you basically just fish it up. You slide the end of the pipe into the housing there, and that kind of holds it for you while you get it attached to the manifold, and ran a couple bolts in there to hold it down there, and now all I gotta do is, you know, do these ones right here. So it'll be good. It's time to put in the turbo now. Let's see how it goes. Oh, it's sitting on the pedestal. That's a plus. Alright, here's my blanket car jacket. This is how I had to, you know, you have to get that connection back here, that silver housing there, to the back of the turbo with that clamp. You can see the nut right at the right there. So I decided to run mine like that. I don't know if that's how it was from factory or not, but I could definitely get something on it back there with an extension. But you have to leave these turbo bolts loose so you can kind of kick it like this, and it lines it up. And then as soon as you get it lined up, you know, you got to try and hold it there with one hand while you get that other clamp, get the clamp on. Kind of difficult, but it's done. So now I'm just going to run extension and you know, use my impact driver, and that'll be all tightened up. And this one up here will be much easier to do, and then we'll be moving right along. First you gotta pull off the wire. It's down in there. Pull it off, get it out of the way. And it's just down in there. It's kind of buried in oil right now. It's 10 millimeter. Just fish that down in there. Let's say it shouldn't be real tight at all. And you just kind of wind it out. Get my hand out of the way would be nice. Let's see if I can. You need to use a very skinny socket, because otherwise it's just a pain in the butt to get like this. I have to thread it back in. It's a pain to get past the push rod and rocker arm right here. So I only had to thread it in just enough. That's all you need. There. So now it's still in there a little bit. Use a piece of, I think I guess it's a piece of 1/4 inch fuel line. You kind of just shove it on there, and you use this to do the rest. Sometimes you can use it to pull the glow plug up, but this hose is a little worn, so a pair of needle nose will work just fine. If I can, there. Okay, I gotta throw this somewhere. My oil rag. Actually, I'm gonna throw it on the ground because it's garbage. So also with this hose, just take it, push it on there, kind of, yeah, like I said, this hose is worn out. Nice brand new hose would work nice, but yeah, get that on there, fish that down in there, then okay. About the end, done with the hose. There we go. Finished doing it the rest of the way with that. There it is. Then you just snug her up. That's it. Okay. Glow plugs are done. And of course, don't forget to put your wire back on. So, got the spider thing back on. Everything hooked up. It wasn't difficult. I mean, you just get your sleeves on there and just kind of tighten those first, and then sit this down in it, kind of wiggle it in there, and once that's wiggled in there, then you want to go up top and put this clamp on. Clamp will already be on because it's, in this case it's, yeah, but anyways, tighten that, make sure that's tight before you tighten these. And then next will be I got like a little cold air thing, air intake part, so I'll put that hose on. It'll get to about right here, and then from there we will do the intercooler pipes, and then once that's done I can put in the cold air intake over here and drop the battery back in, hook everything up, and then out from there I'll start it, and then once that's all good I'll throw in the inner wheel wells and we'll be done. Okay, that's it for this job. Got everything all wrapped up. It's all back together up there. So everything that was done to this truck was the exhaust manifolds were removed, the studs were extracted, and then it had new, had to pull the turbo out and all that stuff out. So we put the new updated up pipes on it, and while that was all out of the way, I replaced the glow plugs in this as well. So overall the whole job took about 14-15 hours for me to do. So it does take a little bit of time, but truck will run a lot better now and be good to go for a while. So that's it.